Well, good Monday morning, Bakersfield, surrounding communities, and everybody watching online on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. This is the Early Bird Special right here on this 5th day of January in the year 2026. I'm Chris Burdick. That's Sparky. Sparky, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see your bright, shining face on this 2026 year.
Yay.
Yay. Let them know what they're in for, my friend.
We'll recap the final week of the regular NFL season as the playoffs are set and coaches are getting laid off. As we expected, two, just counted two, but I'm sure we might hit three before the show's over. We'll get into that. We'll get into some local comedy as our boy Tyson Hayes will join us at 8 o'clock, followed by Snacks, local NBA college referee, local DJ at Hits 93.1. Plus, you can call or text in anytime during the show at 661-842-2000.
It was a very entertaining week 18 in the NFL over the weekend. We had some historical things happen. We had some, bench weeks. We had some not so bench weeks. And to be honest with you, there are some teams that didn't bench their starters that I'm surprised. And there are some that did that I'm also surprised. And we'll get to each and every one of those as we can. What was your biggest shocker of the weekend, my friend, outside of the Stranger Things finale?
I wasn't really impressed with week 18 of the NFL like usual, but
I was pretty impressed.
Before the Sunday night game, I wasn't really, I was like, okay, this is just regular old benching and a lot of players I've never heard of and I'll probably never see again.
True.
I was surprised that the Eagles benched everybody and with incentives again, with Saquon losing out on money again 2 years in a row. But hey, if they think that'll make them any worse or better next week, we'll see. But the Eagles with what they've been dealing with the last month or so, finding their mojo, I think it was probably a bad time to rest everybody, but we'll see.
100%. And as we said last week, with them not really figuring out the offense or what the offense is capable of yet, I agree with you that it was a bad week to really bench their starters. But here's why I say it was entertaining from my point of view. True that it was bench week in the NFL, which I like to call it. Excuse me. But there were a lot of things within this bench week that at least made these games fun to watch and very competitive in certain ways. Saturday's games, both for something very, very significant in the playoffs. Tampa Bay ends up winning their side of it, losing on Sunday, and I'll explain that in a second. And then the San Francisco 49ers, turned into Cinderella with the pumpkin. Have no idea what happened with them. Or maybe Seattle's defense is just really that good. Who knows? We'll find out in the playoffs if we get an actual star quarterback in Sam Darnold. I really don't want to put that, crown on him just yet. But after the last 2 seasons in the regular season, you can't necessarily say that he doesn't look like a star player. At certain times, he just, disappears in the playoffs like certain basketball players we like to make fun of. But, in my personal opinion, the Atlanta and New Orleans game, a lot of fun to watch. And obviously with Atlanta winning, that put Carolina back into the playoff spot and the number 4 seed in the NFC South, or the
Carolina
NFC.
Panthers.
Again, that's the one thing. And I know I got a lot of text messages over the weekend, got a lot of calls about what I said about the Carolina Panthers. And none of these people are actual Carolina Panther fans.
No,
none of them are. There's only one Carolina Panther fan that I know in this community. And I texted who I know connected to that person and told them to tell that person, hey, tell them you're welcome. Because that's the only reason y'all can actually make it to the playoffs, is because Atlanta somehow put you there. And I don't give a dang who or what the standings say. At 8-9, I am crowning the Falcons the true NFC South champions. Because let's be honest,
if they would have beat Carolina, you could say
you know what? That's true. 110% true. And that's the one part of the season that I just cannot ignore. And that's why, in my opinion, Raheem Morris got fired. But we'll get to that in a second. Because Atlanta is literally cleaning house. Not only Raheem Morris got fired, but the GM, Terry Fontenot, got fired as well. And the CEO of the team.
Team president.
He's gone as well.
And your boy might be up for that new job.
Yeah, well, no.
That's what they're reporting this morning is Matt Ryan is in the running for team president.
I wouldn't.
We'll see.
Against it. I would love to see Matty Ice back with the organization, but I'm more okay with the idea of him coming in, much like your team is doing, and having an outside source come and try to help you find a good offensive-minded head coach. Because you have a defensive coordinator now. Do not let that man go anywhere. Jeff Ulbrich was the best part of this team outside of the run defense. We'll fix that in the offseason. But we need an offensive-minded coach that's going to be able to put it together and actually make Penix, London, Pitts, and Bijan, and Tyler Algier, in my opinion, work in a tandem. And that's going to be pretty... I mean, that's a lot of weapons to use for any offensive-minded head coach.
I mean, that doesn't look like a tough job.
No, it does not. Not at all. That's why I don't understand how Raheem Morris messed this up so bad. But again, it is what it is. They'll figure it out. My only concern is that I fear that this is a owner that's panicking really bad, trying to win a Super Bowl before he, inevitably no longer has the team due to, I'm not going to say it, but you get what I'm saying. And it's like the Jerry Jones situation, man. They want to get one before they pass. I'm sorry. We all do. But at the same time, there is a level of this where I am afraid that he is making these decisions on a whim because he's like, oh God, here we go again. And he's like, no, hitting the panic button. There's a difference between Robert Kraft doing that last year with Jared Mayo and you doing that with Raheem Morris. Is there a suitable coach that's going to be an improvement? That is the question everybody is asking. Because with the New England Patriots situation, they had Vrabel right there ready to go, who there was no way they were going to drop that ball. Atlanta, I can't say the same. So we'll get to that later. Then the other historical part of this is we got to see the sack record get broken. Technically, Jared Allen still claims that he owns it. Jared Allen still
wasn't happy either.
No, well, Strahan did the politicking thing.
Of course he did.
He threw the, you needed an extra game to get it, which is 100% true. If he would have got it against the Steelers, it would have been a completely different argument. But you needed another game to get it, and I get that. But let's be honest, man. When you put the two of them up, when Michael Strahan did it, Myles Garrett does it. Who's more impressive in your mind? Because I know my answer.
Strahan was a beast, dude.
No, he was. I'm not saying that either of them are not beasts at the position.
Just a different time. I guess Strahan, I'm going to go with Strahan, but really? Stats are stats. I would go with Strahan just because I've seen more, and they're both studs.
No, 100%. Again, not saying either of them aren't studs or one of them don't deserve to be up there. Same with TJ Watt. But my argument is this, and Strahan kind of made it for me yesterday. Look who he plays on. Look who he plays for. It's the Cleveland Browns, who, let's be honest, although the defense is number 2 in the entire NFL, a good portion of the reason of that is because of Mr. 95. It's because of Myles Garrett, who gets doubled and triple teamed every single day. Zach Taylor said it himself. Very rarely does he ever get one-on-ones, if ever. And I'm not saying Strahan wasn't the same situation, but the Browns are playing from behind a lot, which means less passes, which means less opportunities for him to get sacks. He's playing on a worse team, in my opinion, which is, in a just chemistry situation or your own mentality, it's hard to play for a loser, man. It's hard to bring your A game every single week when you're losing, no matter if you get 5 sacks in a game.
It's a paycheck.
I know, but still. That's the whole reason he's still in Cleveland. We all know
that was more the question of with the unemployed now.
Kevin Stefanski this morning.
Stefanski complaining. Well, whatever. I won't even get into that, but he's unemployed. The Bengals just released that they are not firing their coach. So Zach Taylor's not going anywhere. But the other one, which everyone is keeping their eye on, is the whole Harbaugh deal, which we've been talking about for weeks. Do you think he's safe, or do you think they cut the ties?
Honestly, I think that they're going to have some sort of meeting in the next week or two with John and say, what do you want to do? How do you want to address this? You've been our coach for a decade and a half plus, and we can't just sit here and fire you. That would be ridiculous. Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to move on? Do you think you still got it in you? Because honestly, they were a kick away. Now, granted, again, I question his play calling ability, or at least whoever is calling the offensive plays, because why you're not running it with Derrick Henry every single freaking play when he's averaging 6 yards a carry, I don't know. I have no idea why you put it in the hands of a rookie kicker in the first place. Still don't know how a rookie kicker shanks a dead-on field goal. My God, that kid will never live it down. And honestly, wouldn't be surprised if next year he starts with the yips. I really would not, because that's one of those kicks that you really never forget. And I don't know if that's going to drive him. I hope it drives him. But if it doesn't, I wouldn't be surprised either. So I think when it comes to Baltimore, you just have that meeting. You sit down with him. You say, John, what do you want to do? How do you want to address this? But ultimately, I do think it's going to come to, we need to move on to a different direction. And whether that means John stays on in some sort of organizational role like Pete Carroll did with the Seahawks, and you find a new head coach, or you just tell him, hey, John, thanks for everything you've done. If you want to go join your brother's staff out there in LA, we understand, and you move on. Like, I really don't know how it's going to end, but it most likely will end, just because this season, even though you had a shot at it, it's honestly a failure with everything that you had with this roster, with everything that we thought this could be. And honestly, you wasted 2 years of Derrick Henry's career. Let's be honest. We were talking about Tennessee wasting his prime, but you guys just wasted 2 more years of it. So somebody's got to take the rap for that.
I think he's done.
Unfortunately, it's
I
Harbaugh.
think he's out. I think he just hasn't been able to do what this team should be able to do with that roster. And I think even before Henry, he had a hell of a roster then. And I just think he hasn't been over to get over that little hill. He's gotten up, as far as he could. And I think it's almost the same thing as the Bills. If they don't make it to the Super Bowl this year, they've got to find a winning coach.
100% agree with you on that. And that's honestly that was a lot of the talking points over the weekend with Adam Schefter, is how possible that could be. And I think it's more possible than not, even if they win their first playoff game. Let's say they make it through the wild card and they lose to whoever in the second round. I genuinely believe they're still going to fire you, because you're not getting to that level. You need to make a Super Bowl. If you make it to the Super Bowl and lose, maybe they keep you, because at least you got them there. But if it doesn't get to that game, I don't see them keeping. I really don't see them keeping their head coach. I really don't. And real quick, before we shift off and move on to or get our first break in here, I should say, I have to highlight the comments that were said by a lot of the Bengals crew yesterday after the Myles Garrett sack and the referees stopping the game so they can actually celebrate the moment. A lot of Bengals players, including Jamar Chase, very upset about this. And Jamar was very vocal about it after the game, calling it ridiculous and saying, we were trying to get the offense going. We were trying to do a hurry up, but we had to wait for you guys to celebrate, which didn't make sense to me. That would have been a flag. And he tried to compare it to the game he had earlier in the season where, when I got my 10th catch, if they would have stopped the game for me, it would have been, a flag, or if the entire team comes off the sideline to come celebrate. And I kind of understand, but this is more of a NFL historical relevance. So I do feel like this is a little bit of a, petty downpour because you lost the game in general. But what are your thoughts on this? Should they have stopped the game to celebrate Myles Garrett's accomplishments? Do you think that was a little bit too much? Personally, I think it was fine. I had no issue with it whatsoever. I think that it's just football.
Yeah, I'm so torn on it, because it's a hell of a career milestone, a sport milestone. So I get it. It's a Bengals Browns game, so who really gives a damn? But I saw the coach. I didn't see Jamar Chase. I saw the coach complaining about it. I'm like, dude.
But even he was politicking it at the end when Zach Taylor turned it around and said, but it's a huge accomplishment, and he's a great player and a great guy, so we understand.
If it was their player, they would be doing the same thing.
Right. And Jamar took it as like, if I do anything historical at the end of my career, they better do that for me. And it's like, honestly, they would absolutely stop the game for you, Jamar. But again, I get his griping point as well. The offense was rolling. They just got sacked. They need to get back on the line. They need to get moving again, because the game was in the final 5 minutes and they were down at the time, and they did get down there to kick a field goal to take the lead. Again, they lost 20-18. Doesn't really matter. But at the same time, I think you have to recognize the situation that just happened in front of you, and you need to sit there and understand, okay, let's pause and at least recognize this accomplishment. Then we can get back to the game. It's not like they let the clock roll for 2 minutes and you lost 2 minutes of the game. They stopped the clock, they stopped the game, and they let the crowd and everybody appreciate what Myles did. So I just the complaining after the game seemed more like sour grapes because you lost to the Browns to me. But at the same time, it's not very sportsmanlike. It's not very tasteful. So it's a bad look in my opinion for
I'm more
Jamar
surprised that they
Chase.
kept Taylor as the coach.
You know, it
I'm like, what are you
that I
doing?
think is because of the backing from Joe Burrow and the offense and them saying, "Hey, this guy's good. We don't want him going anywhere." And I get it because again, it's like we were saying a couple weeks ago. Can we blame Taylor for the GM and the front office's mismanagement of funds and inability to really pay players that they need outside of an offense? Is it really Zach Taylor's responsibility to tell these guys, hey, you need to sign defensive players? Or is it Zach Taylor's responsibility just to put the best team on the field every single week? So I'm okay with them not firing Zach Taylor. I didn't think that Zach Taylor was really the reason for them
He's one of them.
losing.
I think he's one of the reasons. I don't think he's just sitting there and has no input on
No,
his team.
absolutely.
And I think they should have let him and the GM go personally.
Mm,
I did just think this team's a dumpster fire.
mm.
And I don't think it's going to get any better
No, that's
with the
fair.
salary cap that they have going into another year with pretty much not a lot of salary cap to build that defense or that offensive line. I think we're going to see a lot of what we saw this season.
Well, and again, the money that you would have paid Trey Hendrickson, you won't have to pay him because he is not going to be on the team next season. There is no way in hell. So I would assume that you do the smart decision and you save that money and you put it towards whatever first round defensive player you want to put on that defensive line to replace him, because at this point, that's the only move that you should make. And hopefully they can at least stomp out this dumpster fire and make it presentable for next season. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I agree with you that Zach Taylor holds some responsibility for how this season went, but I can't necessarily blame him for the front office's cheapness and inability to really give him the players necessary to make it
And
a
if
successful
it was me,
season.
I'd be out. I'd be wanting out
Oh,
personally.
sure. 100%. I mean, again, I agree with you 100%. I would not want to coach with the Cincinnati Bengals whatsoever.
But if I'm keeping that job, I'm going in. I'm saying, hey, we're keeping this quarterback
Yeah.
standing up and we're building a defense.
Exactly. We're figuring this out. We're doing it the old school way. I don't care if I have to get rid of T. Higgins and Chase Brown. I am going to find ways to make money so you could put it towards an offensive line and a defensive line. I agree 100%. That's the only way you're going to be able to get competitive in this very, very competitive AFC North, as we saw this season. Let's take a break, though. On the other side, Sparky, I have to give you credit, my friend. A couple weeks ago, you said there was going to be 12 coaches on the hot seat by the end of this season, and you were nail on the head. There are 12 coaching, or there were 12 coaches yesterday. Now they're down to 10 because 2 of them already got fired. But we'll name off the rest of these lists, or the rest of these coaches on this list, and we'll give our thoughts on who's in and who's out before we get to our first guests of the day. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Being woken up to this song has to make you feel like being yelled at by your mom in the morning.
I'm used to it. So,
Oh, mom, good morning. Hi. Yeah, no breakfast. No, I can make a Pop Tart. It's okay. Thank you.
buttered bread.
Welcome back to the Early Bird Special, right here on KGEO Sports Talk. We're also on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can follow us on all social media platforms.
And a big shout out to KG filling in last Friday. I got to catch most of it on Friday. It was a great show.
Thank you.
Was he at home?
Yeah, he was at home. Again, I did. And I tried to warn him too, because I called him the night before. So, are you coming in studio? He's like, no, I'm gonna have to do it from the house. I got stuff going on. I was like, okay, cool. We can do that, obviously, with the streaming system. But I told him, I was like, this thing's gonna crash on us though. Every time me and you, yes, in the beginning, in the very beginning of the show, he couldn't hear me at all. So the first 5 minutes, I was, trying to juggle, letting everybody know what was going on that day, while also fixing the stream, because if he can't hear me, he can't jump in
while running the show and being
exactly.
a lead host.
So it is what it is. I mean, at this point, I am used to it.
Live
with this.
radio, baby.
If at this point, if I can't do this on my own, I don't know exactly what I'm doing. So. Let's talk about this coaching carousel, which has gotten absolutely ridiculous. You hit it right on the head, my friend, that there are 12 coaches that are at least on the hot seat. 2 have already been fired. So it's actually down to 10. And then 2 were fired earlier in the season. So there are 4 vacancies right now as it stands.
Giants,
Titans,
Falcons,
Browns. Traditionally in the NFL, every offseason we get about 6 to 7. And no, that is not a 6-7 joke. I am being honest on this one. I hate that, and I hope we leave it in 2025. Please leave it in 2025. But yes, there are traditionally 6 or 7 head coaching vacancies every single offseason, and we'll go down the list real quick of the other 10 that are still on the board, and I'll let you know what Adam Schefter says on if they are safe or if they are out or if they're leaning either or. So first, obviously, would be the other 2 coaches in the AFC North that we haven't talked about today, which would be Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh, which I think we could both agree.
Tomlin's safe.
Tomlin is safe. Harbaugh, I'm leaning towards firing, but to be honest with you, wouldn't be surprised if they brought him back for year 17, in my opinion.
I would personally fire him and go in a different direction, but I could see why Baltimore would keep him. He's just a long tenured type coach, and I don't think you're going to get much better unless they have something in their mind that that they think they can get that attitude. I'm hearing more Brian Flores with the Raiders.
Right. Okay. Brian Flores is going to be the name with everybody. Brian Flores is going to be the Lane Kiffin.
Not only does he get the number 1 pick, and that Raiders, the old school, gritty. I think he'd work perfect in the Raiders. I just don't think he'd be a good team.
No,
but I think he would be a perfect coach for the Raiders, for the fan base, and I think bringing a mean, gritty type coach, I would love him back in Miami. I don't see it happening, but I think he would be a perfect fit in Vegas. I think he'd be a perfect fit for a lot of teams that need that attitude. Baltimore would be one as well.
Honestly, I'd love him in Atlanta, especially with this young defense that's already brewing right now. It's like I would love for Brian Flores to get his hands on this team and see what he can do with it.
And the Vikings came out and said, we want you.
Yeah, they're not there. If they can help it, are not letting Brian Flores move anywhere. They want him staying as a defensive coordinator.
What else you got?
Obviously, the other 2 we've already talked about, but Kevin Stefanski was fired this morning. Zach Taylor in. He'll be staying with the Cincinnati Bengals. We just talked about that before the break.
Do you think that makes it a easier breakup next year if Burrow wants out?
Yes, 100%. I think that this
all one more year.
Yeah. This is the, hey, Joe, we're trying to make this fun for you again. So we're going to let you keep your head coach, just like we let you keep your wide receivers last season. But we'll see how this works, because if it doesn't, then we're all just going to blame you.
Go and sideways.
We're going to, and then we're going to trade you away for about 2 or 3 first-round draft picks and say, well, it just didn't work out, and we're in the rebuilding stage.
I can see that.
That
makes more sense now.
Yeah, with this front office of Cincinnati, I would not be surprised of anything because of just how crazily bad they are run. Next up would be the aforementioned Pete Carroll in Las Vegas. I think this entire, what would you call this? Experiment. Yeah, the Pete Carroll experiment didn't work. I think Tom Brady and everybody in that Las Vegas front office is sitting there saying it's time to move on. We already fired his special teams coordinator. We already fired another one of his coordinators. You might as well just lop the head off the Hydra and move on. So unfortunately, the Raider fandom had to live through this for a year.
What's taking so long?
Honestly, that's what I'm saying too. So we'll see what happens. Maybe that's the next coach to be fired before the end of the show. Who knows? We are a Raider affiliate, so maybe we'll know before anybody else. We'll let you guys know. Next up will be the two coaches from the NFC South. One has already been fired, but Todd Bowles and Raheem Morris. Raheem Morris obviously already being let go from the Atlanta Falcons, and the Falcons are in a massive just wave of firings. They fired the GM, they fired the CEO, they fired the head coach. Arthur Blank, the owner, has released a 4-page letter to the fandom apologizing. Apparently, I haven't even got a chance to read this yet. And I this is why I do worry though, Spark. This is one of those like fearful moves where he sat there and said, "Oh God, this is going to happen, and I have to do something." Even though you really don't need to do anything, you could just let this happen and see what happens next year. The team was gelling finally at the end of the season. Drake London and Bijan both were saying, "Hey, don't move off of him. If you want to make moves in the other part of the coaching staff, whatever, but leave Raheem. We want him here." They said, "Nope, we're moving on." And now Atlanta is starting a massive just front office search in general. So I'm not sure exactly what
That's what my boss was saying. I mean, usually you don't see a lot of coaches get fired after a win or a couple wins. We saw two, both of them. Yeah,
we saw two yesterday, and that's again. One
Shedeur got his win, so I had to throw that one out there too.
One we knew was leaving though, because let's be honest, after the Shedeur fiasco, there is no way.
That I'm glad you brought that up because somebody had posted on ESPN late last night, or really early this morning when I got up. I saw a video of I guess the history of Stefanski and Dion.
Yeah. Okay. So the thing that I had brought up of the ice thing with his grandfather, or of Stefanski's grandfather, McKee, or I can't remember, the baseball reporter. Yeah. Again, I had been told that weeks ago. I didn't know how true this was. Again, I don't know how deep this goes or if there's anything like that. Stefanski most likely will get a nod for somebody else's team. It's just not
on Cleveland.
Yeah, it's not going to happen with Shedeur Sanders. And honestly, if this does end up being the reason, we'll never know. We honestly will never know. That'll be one of those sports story secrets forever. Like, I don't think anybody will actually find the real answer to this. Do you think Todd Bowles, though, after losing the NFC South, and it would have been, I think, his third or fourth year in a row as the conference champion, or the division champion, rather, I apologize. Would you be surprised if they move on from Todd Bowles?
No, I think he's got to go.
Really?
I mean, I don't know what happened to Tampa. I know the receivers got hurt. That was dealing with some injuries, but it just seems like he lost that team.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if he lost the team or if they were just riddled with injuries and just beat up, like you said. Like I know Tristan Wirfs was dealing with a lot this season. I know it was very well reported that Baker Mayfield was playing on an injury, although he would not announce what it was. Obviously, they lost Mike Evans for the better part and Chris Godwin for most of the season.
I mean, Miami played them last week, and I was like, this is going to be a good game.
Yeah.
And Tampa just looked bad, man.
No, you're right. Like, it's much like the Packers to me. Like, I watched them and the spark is gone. Like, it's not like it's fleeting and it's going away, but you can still, no, it's gone. Like, there is nothing there. Like, the team that is not home anymore. I really don't know what it is, but maybe they'll figure it out next season. I don't know if a firing of Todd Bowles is how you make it happen, but it wouldn't be surprising to me if Tampa Bay just decides, you know what, maybe
unless they can snag Gruden.
I'm
saying.
I don't know. We'll see what happens here. I don't know if John is going to be coming back to the NFL anytime soon. Moving on, Jonathan Gannon out there in Arizona. Now, it is being reported that he and the front office feel he is safe, that they actually are okay with the way the season went, even though it was in shambles, to be fair. But they look at it from a broader perspective, that they went up against 3 of the NFC's powerhouses 6 times this year, and there were a ton of injuries for this team. So how do you feel? Do you think Jonathan Gannon is safe?
That one's tough. I mean, I would, if I was the owner, I'd be like, I want a report on what your plans are for this team going in the future. Because if it includes Kyler, if it includes Jacoby, then you're out.
Yeah.
I just think they dealt with a lot of injuries, obviously, with the tough division. they're not looking any better, I would
Mhm,
say. So I don't know how much they're invested into this coach's game plan for the future,
mhm.
but I could see it either way.
And honestly, I think to take that one step further, I think your plan needs to also be how the hell do we make Marvin Harrison Jr. a stud? How is your plan going to make that a thing? Because we need Marvin Harrison to come back and essentially be Larry Fitzgerald 2.0. That's what you need from him is a workhorse who can catch everything. So I'm not sure exactly how you make that happen, but we'll figure that out. Why? What's up?
Giants just announced that they are keeping their GM.
Yeah, Joe Scheid, that
I'm
again.
just idiots. They
That's on
are
them.
idiots,
If
man.
they want that man searching for their next head coach,
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, Giant fans, you're going to be dealing with a lot of shtick here, and I can't say what I actually want to say. Next up on this list, we're going to the AFC East. As all four, or I'm sorry, no, three of the four are up for grabs here. Starting with your own Mike McDaniel, is he safe? Is he gone? What do you? I know you've been saying it for a good portion of the season that it seemed like he was going to get fired, but now since the GM got fired, it seems like the team's kind of turned around. Do you think that they keep McDaniel?
If you would ask me in the first half of that game yesterday, I would have said, yeah, he's probably safe. After the second half and looking at the stats in the third quarter, I think it was 137 to 27 in the
Mm,
third quarter, and I've watched all of them. And it seems like the team comes out hot, ready to play. I mean, without A Chain, without Waddle, without Darren Waller yesterday, about two of their main defenders were out. So I wasn't expecting much. I was also expecting New England not to start their starters,
mm.
knowing they still had a chance to get the number one seed. So I got it closer to the game, but I am so torn with McDaniel. I think if we can keep him as an offensive coordinator, which never happens in the NFL, I think the number one thing is to get a GM, get it right, and not to sit on it for a month.
Mhm.
But I think it's really going to come down to what GM comes in and wants to do for the head coaching job. I think it really depends on who comes in. But I will say, them announcing that Troy Aikman is going to be a part of this team with
I
the GM search, I know just by watching a couple games that Troy Aikman did the commentating, he is not a fan of McDaniel.
no.
And I would probably lean on McDaniel probably getting cut.
That, and that's one of the things that I wanted to bring up as well is I found that to be a little weird. I get why Atlanta's asking Matt Ryan to come help because obviously Matt has a long standing with the team and a history, but why did they call Troy and not Mr. Moreno?
Marino's a part of it.
Oh, is Moreno part of it
Yeah.
too? Oh, okay. That makes more sense now. Okay. That was like because that was the first question I had was
I guess
don't get me
they're
wrong.
they're good buddies, I
All
guess.
four Troy coming in and helping. If anybody knows successful football, it's Troy Aikman, to be completely honest with you.
Uh-huh.
But that's what confused me. I was like, I thought the first call you would have made would be to Dan Marino, but okay, whatever. That works out
I'm also
whichever
hearing a
way.
lot. I mean, obviously being one of the few Dolphin fans here in California, I would say the more I've read lately, whether it's the Palm Post reader or the Miami Herald, but I'm hearing a lot of more with the old Packers Cowboys coach
Oh, McCarthy.
McCarthy,
Yeah.
and I don't.
I respect Mike McCarthy. I think he's brilliant, especially hearing him on McAfee so much. He really is brilliant with his takes and like how it's same with Bruce Arians. You could see how they're head coaches in the NFL because of how just football smart they are. But I agree. I've never been huge on him. I've always thought that he's benefited from a lot of really great teams, a lot of really great situations. He's even gotten there with the Packers, but I don't think him coming to Miami would be a beneficial move at all. Plus, I think Miami's main focus should be
Quarterback.
you need to unload your two big contracts, get Tyreek and Tua out of there, and figure out how you can allocate that money towards everybody else and a rookie quarterback to get some success moving forward. We've already talked about Sean McDermott, so we won't get into that much. Let's shift over to the biggest. This man needs to be fired. This man needs to be gone. I don't care what your plan is in New Jersey. Aaron Glenn needs to be fired. Does everybody realize that a defensive minded head coach,
With no interceptions.
no interceptions in an entire season, and you had Sauce on the team at one point? How? How at all? And honestly, it makes me even more mad that my Falcons lost to them And if we would have won that game, we'd be in the playoffs right now. But we won't even get into that. That's all circumstance. At this point, though, if we're going to talk about Pete Carroll's experiment not working, Aaron Glenn's experiment didn't work either. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say you had a stellar offense outside of maybe a wide receiver and a running back, but you can't sit there and tell me that a defensive minded head coach can't get your DBs to get one pick. That in itself is a fireable offense, in my opinion. What say you?
Yeah. I enjoy it. I like
No,
that
yeah,
the
I
Jets
enjoy
aren't
it
going to
too.
fire him. Go ahead, keep him.
And I
Keep
know a
him as
couple
long as
Jet
you
fans.
want. I know a few too, and they all. I love Aaron Glenn. Yeah, you love him as the player.
Yeah, you don't love him as the coach. And honestly, if they say they love him after next year, because he's gonna be fine, they're gonna keep him. They've already reported that Aaron Glenn's not going anywhere. But in my personal opinion, that man needs to be fired. And again, it's not necessarily that he's a bad coach or a bad guy, but you cannot accept this. You cannot accept in a conference that has Tua Tagovailoa, Josh Allen, and Drake May to have a defense with a defensive-minded head coach that isn't stellar, that isn't up to par. And you traded away your two biggest defensive players. So now you're really in a rebuild. Let's be honest. So
I think that's what saved him.
I think so too. I think the fact that they really just punted on the season halfway through and said, you know what, this season's a wash. We're just going to say that we're going to move on to 2026. I think you're right. I think that saved his job. But honestly, it's a ridiculous idea that he should still be a head coach in New York, honestly. And the last one, which I don't think this man gets fired, but it's kind of understandable why he's on the hot seat. And that's Shane Steichen out there in Indianapolis. One of the hottest teams to start out the year, then you lose your starting quarterback. I understand the impact that has, but I believe they lost their last 10 games. I want to say something of that nature. Like they went on a historic losing streak. So realistically speaking, I get why he's on the hot seat. I don't think he gets fired though.
No, they announced this morning that him and the GM are both going to stay put, and I don't know. I think that's another team that's quarterback hungry, and I don't know if they're going to stay and try to keep Daniel Jones. I would,
from what
just
they were
what
saying,
I've seen.
I was watching Red Zone yesterday a lot, and from what they were saying in the broadcast was that the plan is that they keep him in and they are going to build around this team, not necessarily around Daniel, but around what they have. So I think the plan is to keep Daniel Jones in there as the starting quarterback as it sits right now. But again, bouncing back from two serious leg injuries like this, it's going to be a tall mountain for him to climb. It really is.
And he put a tweet out, saying thank you to all the community in Indianapolis, blah, 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 blah.
I misspoke. It was 8 of the last 9 is what they lost. 8 of the last 9. The only one that they won was the Atlanta game before the bye week, but still.
There's a funny stat, too, with the Raiders. They won their first game, one game in the middle, and one game at the end.
Yeah. Again, and of course, the one game I probably would have seen them win was this weekend. I should have went. I knew I should have went. But, and the other thing that we should highlight as well that was historic that I totally forgot about, Travis Kelce reaching 13K yards. 3 other tight ends are in this category. That'd be Tony Gonzalez, Jason Witten, and now him. So that's pretty.
Is it over?
I say no. I think that he's going to sit there and wallow in it, probably get married, and then some point during the honeymoon, I think they're going to ask him, say, are you coming back or not? And I think that he comes back for one more ride. I really do. I think that the idea of a retirement tour for Travis, I think is going to be huge. But 2, I can't see a competitor like Travis Kelce really leaving on a year like this. And I don't think Patrick Mahomes is going to let him leave. I think Patrick is going to be a key driver of, hey, big guy, come on, let's get one more before you get out of here. Because I know they're not going to, but they feel like they're still at that level. Unless they bring back Tyreek Hill, I really don't see them being at that level. And honestly, even then,
dealing with both injuries with Tyreek's and Mahomes, and I know they asked him yesterday if he was looking to retire, if he's coming back. He said, to tell you the truth, I will sit on it. He said it could come to me tonight and I'll let you guys know, but I'm also going to think about it with the family. I think going into a wedding, and if he gets, married this offseason like they're scheduled to, I think he just walks away.
Maybe. And
I think he's going to make so much more money in Hollywood and doing his podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I think he joins his brother and just walks away.
When when in his situation though, as a competitor, are you sitting there thinking about the future and the money you're going to make out there, or are you sitting there thinking what could be as a tight end or as a player? Because again, I agree with you, he's got all that after his career, but that's the comfort of what's coming afterwards, and I think that's going to come with the wedding as well, as knowing all of this is waiting for me when I'm done. So I get one more year, then I'm out. That's why it's kind of like Gronk when he came back with with the Tampa Bay team. Now, yes, he was coming back to have one more ride with Tom. At the same time, he had nothing to prove. He had nothing. He could have retired that year and he would have went into the Hall of Fame 5 years later. No harm, no foul. Nobody would have cared. But because the competitive nature is there and the thought of one more ride with your main guy, I think that's going to be too much for him to really turn down. And I don't think Kansas City really is against giving him that 1 year deal worth what, 15 mil, probably 20 mil, and then saying, here, we're going to do a retirement tour. You're going to have some crazy stuff happen this season. And then at the end of it all, if you win a Super Bowl, potentially your wife as the halftime show, and everybody gets to ride off on a white horse and be happy and marry. I think that's the potential of that story will keep him around.
We'll see. Because if Mahomes is scheduled to miss 7-8 games next year,
They were claiming he's going to be back week 1.
yeah, they say that.
I know, but that's why that's the story out of it right now, is that he's going to be back week 1. And if that is the case, I would not doubt that they somehow get these guys all back together. And maybe they do. Maybe they figure out a way to bring Tyreek back too.
Take him. You
Honestly,
can
at this
have him.
point, Miami's looking to offload all that money, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just say, "Here," and just
You have
chuck
to
them over
include
there.
Tua, though.
Yeah. You get a backup at the same time. You have to take all $200 million of their contract
Yep.
just to take
You have
this.
to take him, though.
Oh, God. Let's take a break. On the other side, we'll get to some entertainment stuff before we get to our guests of the day, because I want to hear Sparky's thoughts on the Stranger Things finale, because personally, I loved it. I love the way it ended, and everybody hating on it. I get why you don't like it, but to be honest, maybe it just wasn't for you. That's just the way it is. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Go back and forth with the music. Early, we'd let you know that it's time to wake up.
I'll put you to sleep.
And yeah, then we put you to sleep right before you're supposed to go to work. It's a beautiful thing. Welcome back to the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. You can also watch us every single morning from 7 to 9 on our on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook or Instagram and TikTok as well. You can follow us on all social media platforms, really. And like, share, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. The NFL season has come to an end, or at least the regular season has. And so did one of our favorite streaming shows over the weekend, or at least over the holiday break. I didn't get to talk to my guy Sparky about this, but what were your thoughts on Stranger Things, my friend?
It was great.
I thought it was a
I loved it.
fantastic ending. How was it in the theater? I didn't get to watch it in the movie.
It was
theater.
cool. I mean, it was more. We got home and started it over again, but
Really?
we enjoyed it. I mean, it was we went to Reading Cinema.
Okay.
And there was a lot of crowd participation, I would say. There was clapping and there was
I hate that.
sadness. And I was
hate
looking at my son. I'm like, okay, it was all right the first couple times. I'm like, all right, sit your ass down,
Yeah,
first of
shut
all.
up.
And second of all, I was bumping my boy saying, is this going to be like a Minecraft thing, dude? Like, are
Probably.
they going to start throwing crap and he's like, no, I get it. And I mean, it seemed like it was going quick, but I mean, for the final episode, I could understand, the participation. I guess I'm just the old man. I'm like, just sit your ass down.
No. I'm with you 100%. But I was like that even when I was younger. Like when I first went to the first Avenger movie. Okay, everybody knows how big of a deal that was, and I get how big of a deal that was. But I hate when y'all start clapping in a movie. I hate it. I hate every bit of it. Shut up. Like, I'm here to watch the movie. I get you're excited. I understand. And for those of you who clap at the end of movies too, when credits roll, get out. Get out. Like, at that point, at least I don't have to listen to you.
Well, they got that too.
But yeah, that's ridiculous.
I get more upset with people are walking back and forth during the movie.
It's like, bro, sit down. Like,
are you gonna watch this movie or what, dude?
Exactly.
Come on.
Like, and again, maybe it's just because this younger generation hasn't lived in a movie theater like the rest of us did, but there's a level of decorum that comes when you're in a movie theater. You put the phone away, you shut the hell up.
A buddy texted me this morning and said, you guys should call Maury. So I guess in one of the scenes, they showed a phone number to Maury's house.
No way.
And you can call him and you can listen to his voicemail.
I'm going to have to look back. We will do this at some point by the end of the week. I will do this. That sounds fantastic. I love that idea. And then real quick, before we hit our first break, we had a text last week that I forgot to get to, and I would love to bounce this off you just because we're both fans of wrestling. But Mr. Ken texted in and says, I'm 65 and grew up experiencing the greatest era of boxing and loved it. I don't care for UFC as it seems too brutal to me. I never understood the interest in professional wrestling. You and your guests are talking about storylines, as me and KG were talking about storylines within wrestling. Is wrestling a sport to you like boxing, or is it a TV show you love like The Sopranos? Just don't understand how grown adult sport fans can view it with the passion that you have. I completely understand. Don't get me wrong. And it's kind of a mixture of both. I will not lie to you. The way I explain it to people is it's an athletic soap opera. It can be seen as a television show, but it could also be seen as a sport. Now, do I find the betting on it a little ridiculous? 100%, because the idea of someone betting on a wrestling match does not make sense to me. But at the same time, I see it as a sport just because of the athletic ability that it takes to actually do what they do. So it's kind of a mixture of both. I get why you're, I guess, confused about it, but it's not necessarily something that I can explain further. It's more of just, you can watch it, turn off your brain for a while, and it's sports without fully being athletic or competitive sports, I should say. Because again, it is scripted to a point, but what they do, the pain they go through, and the athletic ability it takes to do what they do, in my opinion, makes it a sport.
365 days a year. I mean, the guys are athletes, so I have to give them respect. I heard it my whole life. So when I was watching in the late 80s, my dad would laugh and, what are you watching this crap for? It's all set up. And again, look what they're doing, though. Can you do that?
Exactly. And again, if that's the way you feel, that's fine too. It's okay. Just, let everybody enjoy what they enjoy. It's just like you watching a movie. Or watching The Sopranos. Do you really believe that that's happening? Do you really believe a family just got murked in the middle of a diner at the end of that? Do you really believe that a 6'7" man named The Undertaker really has magical powers? No, we don't. But it is what it is. This is the Early Bird Special. We'll be right back with our guests of the day. Welcome back. Early Bird Special, Hour 2, right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 1230 AM. And it's time to get to our guests of the day, our friends over at Made You Laugh Mondays at the Firehouse on, wait, are we back on Rosedale?
Yes, back on Rosedale tonight and forever.
Fantastic. All right, well, again, you say that, and then the next time we have you in, they said, oh, no, we're on White Lane this week. And I can never tell. So we're back on Rosedale, but Tyson is obviously in here with one of his very funny friends, Pat. Gentlemen, good to see both of you. Happy you're both here. How are we feeling? How's the new year treating both of you so far?
Excellent. I'm on the radio.
Well, I mean,
Dude,
that's a positive
list. Yeah.
And you?
Same. Super excited. 2026 is going to be amazing with the well opening and with Made You Laugh Mondays. I think it's going to be a good year for comedy in Bakersfield.
Yeah.
I'm super stoked.
And we were just talking about the well opening here later this month, obviously on the 26th, correct? Something like that.
23rd was on last week.
23rd?
23rd.
He was still waiting on a couple permits, but he's pushing
always
it.
waiting on permits.
He'll get it done.
That's what happens, man. We've been dealing with it for the last 4 years. So I mean, I'm excited. The well's opening, and he's got like 4 or 5 months already booked out. So I'm excited, dude.
I am too. And honestly, we were talking about, do you know if they're doing a soft launch or anything like that for the downtowners?
I'm not sure about the well. I know Woolworths is next Friday.
Are they really?
Yes.
At the music venue, or?
It's a soft opening. Yeah, it's the basement down at the Woolworths, and the soft opening will be the 16th. Followed, I believe, the following Friday will be the grand opening.
Okay, well that makes sense. See, again, soft openings. That's why I was asking about you guys, because I mean, if we got like a soft show for people downtown who have been waiting for this for a while, would make a lot of sense.
Speaking of soft,
let them know.
Speaking of soft,
we're gonna talk about the Dolphins now,
we're
or
talking
what?
about them Chargers.
Oh yeah, okay.
Man,
let's go. We talk about the second string Chargers. All right.
One, I wish you guys the best of luck. I hate the Patriots, so good luck.
Yeah.
2, what happened at the end of your guys' bet? Now that the season is over, is
He
it just a
called
wash
it
or
off.
what?
I did
weeks
not.
ago.
I did
I
not.
have video proof of you coming in here and saying, look, man,
Listen,
I'm calling it off. It is what it is. And it doesn't even matter because statistically, again, Dak had a better season.
no,
and that's what the
I'm
bet
saying.
was.
Listen, both of our quarterbacks had a matchup this year where they played each other. Okay, Justin Herbert wins. That's 1 point.
See,
They have a better record. Your guy has better stats. Who cares about stats?
Face-palmed.
Who cares about individual stats?
This again sounds like a elementary school kid trying to get out of a bet. And
I
again,
owe you guys something big.
I don't know what it is. We haven't even said what it is. And I even gave you an opportunity because, again, you came in here a couple weeks ago and said, I got to call it off.
I just was, I knew that he was winning. And
Did he not?
I think, okay, I'll do some sideline interviews and stuff on SoFi for you guys. If you
There we
absolutely
go.
need
We'll
me
do
to.
something. We'll have you handle our social media. Actually, you know what? No, we
you
can't
guys
do
will be
that either.
canceled.
We can't do that
Don't
either.
do that.
We'll figure something out. But I mean, again, you guys are in pretty good standing right now,
Oh,
I
yeah,
would
we're
say.
great.
So, I mean, it's not very good that you have to take on the Patriots first.
It's Patriot. The Chargers, the greatest years of my life for the Chargers have been the years where Tom Brady was on the Patriots.
True.
Where we had LaDainian Tomlinson, Antonio Gates, like all these Hall of Famers.
True.
Yeah, and the Patriots were, they always stopped us, it seems like. So I feel like going up against the Patriots and Drake May is not, I feel like it's not as scary back in the day going up against Brady.
Absolutely.
So I'm confident. They played a bunch of under 500 teams, so good for them.
Yeah, right.
That's fair.
Mhm.
Absolutely fair. And again,
My number one thing is traveling from California to Foxborough.
with playing in the snow.
I've been saying this. These cold weather, these warm weather teams going over there, it's not fair. It's almost like it's not. They just need to hurry up and buy.
Man, you're on the side of just close up every stadium into a dome, aren't you?
Yes.
God, Weenie Hut General.
Dude,
I
it's
swear.
January. It's freezing. There's black ice. How do they even park
Everybody
out there? It's not
closing
safe. It's
their
not
stuff.
safe.
No, stop
not
it.
safe for the people
Stop
going
it.
to see
It's
the
like
games.
Chicago not playing in the snow. If Chicago made a dome, I'd be so upset. No,
Like Kansas City's doing.
football weather is the cold. If
Yeah.
you can't play in the cold, I'm sorry, you're not going to win football.
We need-
I don't know exactly how to explain that to you.
You know how teams go to like elevation, like they'll go to Mexico City and they'll go there like a week early to get acclimated. The Chargers
Well,
should have like
sometimes.
this dome that has fake snow, just cold. They can pump in. I don't know. We got to get ready somehow, but we can't be on the beach all day and then go down to like you're saying, Foxborough
Go
or
out to
what.
Foxborough a week early and practice in the
Sit
snow.
I know. There we go.
Fix itself. Find a high school.
You might be onto something here.
It's not that hard. He was about to say something as well. What were you about to say, Pat? I saw something.
He's an Eagles fan. He has no.
Are you an Eagle fan?
Yeah, I already heard the name Dak Prescott this morning.
Again, Falcons fan. There's a long story that comes into this, but we're not going to get into it. As an Eagles fan, I've got some questions for you though. How'd you feel about you guys benching all of your starters yesterday? Because that seems to be a pretty big topic today.
Yeah, it's worked before. I mean, the worst part about it is no matter what we're playing, as we're just talking about cold weather, on their way to the Super Bowl, the Eagles will have to have cold weather home games or a game in either Chicago or whatever,
right?
Other place. But
Seattle can get pretty cold in the winter sometimes, but not that cold, I guess.
No, Seattle doesn't get. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's raining,
like a damp weather. Yeah.
I have to wear a slicker.
Wear a hoodie that day, you'll be fine. So you're cool with them just benching the players and giving up on the number 2 seed? Because that's what everybody keeps bringing up, is that you kind of gave up on that and had a legitimate shot at it.
Yeah. So what would happen if you put in the starters in the fourth quarter? And I'm a Philadelphia fan, so someone key is going to get injured.
True.
If you do that. And then people would be like, people would be having the same argument. People love arguing about the Eagles, and I'm cool with it. We're sore winners, and I'm cool with that, because that means we're winners.
That's absolutely true. I've heard a really good way to put it is that you can be a humble loser and be a sore winner. And that's just the best way to put it, because if you win, you should be rubbing it in everybody's faces. But if you lose, you should just shut up and let everybody rub it in yours.
Yeah, I've had about 6 decades of mostly losing. So
exactly.
I'm on my way. I'm about 40 years into a Dolphins just.
Well, let's hope you don't have to go another 2 decades without seeing the Dolphins win a playoff game.
I don't know that backup quarterback they had looked pretty good.
Looked way better than Tua, I'll tell you that. It's Ewers time.
Oh,
it doesn't have that spin to it, but hey, anybody take Tua, I will be so happy. I'm not buying another Dolphins jersey for a long time, but
what if we bought one for you? Does the juju still count?
I will. I mean, if a team will take on Tua in his contract, I will buy that jersey.
You could save on letters. Yours is a lot shorter than Tag Levi Low.
Exactly. I had some buddies that were posting the Tua jersey where they do duct tape and it would say Ewers instead. I was like, whatever, dude. I'm just not buying them. And if I do, I'm buying the old 70s, 80s teams because every jersey I buy, they end up getting traded or cut or arrested, whatever. I'm just not doing it.
Between you and my buddy who's a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, you both have the same curse. The minute you buy a jersey, that guy's gone within like 2 or 3 years. It's the weirdest thing in the planet, but I guess that's just how sports fandom works sometimes, especially in this new era. But let's talk about some comedy stuff you guys got going on, obviously, at Firehouse. Do we have any special guests coming in this week?
We've got, I don't know if you guys can make it tonight, if this reaches anybody outside of Bakersfield, but if you can get to Firehouse tonight, we'll have Pat Rabin. This guy right here. He's going to feature tonight at Major Life Mondays. And I don't know, this guy's in LA all the time. Ice House. Go ahead and tell him. You got something coming up?
Actually, I haven't taken anything on this month.
Rare that he doesn't have something on the books.
So well, I mean, it's the new year. You have to give yourself some time to actually book everything out.
Well, really, honestly, it's because the well's opening. Because a lot of the people who come to see me are from Bakersfield, and I don't want to put them in a position where they're curious about the well and they want to make a decision about whether to come.
See you out in LA.
Yeah. Good guy.
Are you a local person? Are you from here?
Not originally, but
no?
I've lived here for a few years. My wife's from here, so.
Oh, okay. What brought you to Bakersfield then?
My wife.
Oh, okay. Her. Makes sense. So you from Philadelphia then?
I'm from outside Philadelphia, and I used to work up in Lemoore at the naval base, and I met my wife when I was doing that.
Okay. What got you into comedy then? What brought you down this route?
When I retired, my wife said I needed a hobby.
To get the hell out of the house. I can't stand you anymore.
The first part. But, I couldn't stand the thought of joining a bowling league or golfing. And I know those are sports events and this is a sports format, but
that's not sports.
In any case, I mean, that's not me.
Kinda.
That's not. So we went to Tembler and there was an open mic, and we just happened to be there for drinks. We just walked over next door, and Andrew Boydston was hosting, or Andrew Boydston was performing, but Joe Alanis was hosting, and it just seemed like something I could do. And I went up the next week and got a laugh, and once I got that laugh, I've just been hooked.
Caught the bug.
Yeah,
That's awesome, man. Again, and another story of somebody who just tried it out one day at an open mic and found it out for them. We keep telling these guys, everybody who listens to the show, to come out to these, even if you just have an inkling to try it yourself, because you never know what could happen. And so many of you really just start that way. You just showed up to a Tumblr open mic and just said, you know what, let's see what 5 minutes can get me.
I'm telling you, there is no feeling like getting a laugh. It's intoxicating. And you know, everybody's got their own way of doing it. So it's never, it's always entertaining in some form, you know, and, you know, thankful to Tyson that he's hosting this mic tonight that's become a real staple. So
absolutely.
Cool.
And what, I know this is really hard to explain from a comedic standpoint, but what is your way to make people laugh? What do you think your comedy is?
I mean, I'm kind of old fashioned. I mean, in two senses. I mean, I'm influenced by older comics, which are like, you know, Tonight Show era comics with Johnny Carson shows, Set Up and Punchline, Rodney Dangerfield.
Nice.
You know,
Love that.
David Brenner, the old school guys. And also I'm a dad, so there's a lot of dad jokes in my comedy.
You'll get a lot of laughs in Bakersfield with dad humor. So
yeah.
More background though, Pat, because you mentioned you worked in Lemoore, but let's hear some more of your background. I think that's key because his whole life was being prepared to write jokes for this world.
Really?
Yeah. What else you got?
I'm a retired federal agent. I was an NCIS agent for many years, and I was in the Navy before that.
That's all.
Well, I don't
That's
know.
What
do you think,
Tyson?
What are you
What are you
saying?
What like a uneventful life, you know?
That's no, that's it. I was born in Pennsylvania, and then I did that. Now I'm here. I don't know.
Wild. He's got a good. I mean, you got to come check it out.
First and
because the
foremost,
stuff-
thank you for your service. We appreciate you. But NCIS is pretty cool. I mean, that's awesome. Everybody really only knows it now because of the television show. But any cool stories to come out of that?
What, the television? Actually,
No. Your life, not the television
There's
show.
just
I don't
one
care
time where
about
I liked
Sully
Ziva.
and all those guys.
I mean, Ziva's so funny.
Oh, she's great. Although the new series apparently sucks. I haven't been able to watch it yet. That's
I don't know.
unfortunate.
Watch it with the sound.
No,
Yeah, right.
there you go. That's a very good.
Like I
point.
do with my Dolphin games.
Oh, good.
I mean, she's kind of like Dak Prescott, isn't she? She
Mediocre?
looks good. She looks good, but it's hard to watch.
That's awesome though, because when I was growing up, I used to take my dad's VHS tapes and go in the back room and watch all the adult comedy, and a lot of them were the Rodney Dangerfield specials. You know, that's where I caught, you know, Andrew Dice Clay and some of these comedians, and that's when I fell in love with comedy. I don't have the cojones to get up on stage though, so I'm looking forward to seeing you live.
Well, yeah, thanks. Yeah.
But as well as, you know, Tyson, I think I've seen you once now. Finally.
Yeah. And you're not missing much. Huh? I told you, dude. I'll let you down.
You just need to put him in a chair right there, right in front of the stage, so you know he's there watching.
Yeah.
Get him a
one.
VIP table with his wife, and he'll be happy.
No, don't do that.
No.
Tyson, don't sell yourself short, man. You're very funny, and Tyson's got to be about the most welcoming host I know too. So you do.
Thank you.
Wow, there's a reason we keep him around, you know, and he keeps coming back every week, every other week.
Because I paid him.
So, well,
he's a sponsor.
Yeah.
Well, no, but I was going to ask you, Tyson. You had a busy week.
Yeah.
Was it just the holidays? I saw you were out down in LA.
Yeah, I did go to the store. You know, there was an opportunity that arose where I was in the area, and I went ahead and spent a full working day out there and hung out. You know, I went and checked it out. It was a rainy day. There's several shows that go on at the store all the time. And I got there super early, around 6. Usually the shows don't even start. And then when I looked at the lineups, I was like, man, that 10:30 show looks really good. So I just hung out, man, until 10:30, saw some killers. It was a small crowd in the main room. So I got to see guys like Tim Dillon, Annie Letterman, Greg Fitzsimmons, who's going to be at the Well Comedy Club in April, which is a killer. He also headlined at Laugh Factory that same night. Just studs that are out there. And it was a small, tight, intimate room. I sat like, you know, a stone's throw, a beer pong toss away from where the stage was. And all of it was just really cool to see those pros that have specials on Netflix and stuff in a room with like 75 people, you know, because it happens. Sometimes, you know, it's just right after the holidays. It's a rainy day. Sometimes you get a light room. But to me, it just changes the whole show to make it just for a couple of you guys or however many are in there.
Mm.
And it was fun to watch these killers that sell out stadiums in just a small room.
Well, and it's much more intimate, obviously, but you get to see the jokes that they're trying out for the first time before those major shows. So in a way, you're seeing something that other people probably won't even be able to comprehend.
Absolutely. Yeah. Stuff that, just starting. And another thing I noticed that night was cool to watch was these guys are such pros. They come out, they let you know, hey, we know it's a small room in whatever way they do it, but they still are. They don't have, you just still see that they have it in them. They're gonna perform. They're gonna do this. It doesn't matter if that room was packed and that was sold out for months, or if it was just that small room. And it's just like, that's how I just got to take everything like it's a stadium. And it was really inspiring to watch these guys go up there and still make everybody laugh.
How crazy of a special moment for not only you, but everybody else in that room. Cause like, I always wonder about that, how often these guys just kind of show up to the Laugh Factory or something to test some stuff out. Cause you hear stories about, oh yeah, Dave just showed up one Wednesday and decided to try out some material. And it's like, you're just sitting there one Wednesday on a date night and you realize, oh my God, that's Dave Chappelle. Like what's happening? That must have been really cool.
I couldn't.
And obviously not Dave, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, no, because they'll do things like they have 3 different rooms, right? The largest room, the main room, the original room, and then the belly room upstairs. And sometimes the belly room that holds, what do you think, Pat? 75, 80 people? 100 people out there. Sometimes Dave Chappelle will do a pop in there, and it's like, dude, this is it's a special place.
I mean, yeah, I was doing a show one time. I haven't done the Comedy Store all that often. You helped me with that once, but
and he killed it.
And Mark Maron walks in and does 10 minutes of all new, stuff he's trying out, and couldn't be a kinder person. But it's the Comedy Store is like Mecca. It's or I kind of like Hogwarts, I guess. It's like a university.
And eventually all the alumni come back and it's just a special moment. That's really cool to be able to experience though. So it must have been really fun. Yeah. What brought you down to LA though? What were you down there for?
I was taking my son back. He lives in San Diego and he had a lacrosse game. So he was with me for a few weeks while he was off. And then I took him back and then just kind of hung out.
All right. What got your son into lacrosse? We just had Chris Orr on Friday talking about the Bakersfield lacrosse stuff they have going on over here.
Yeah, they're starting to climb. And I've met some guys I work with. Some of their kids are into the lacrosse because there's not really any teams in high school here like there is in San Diego. But I just got, my son, I grew up coaching him in football, soccer, baseball, just like my dad coached me. And I was really good at all those sports. I'm usually humble and things, but I was really good at sports and these ones. But I coached him, and then thank you, Pat. I need Pat sometimes to kind of bring me back down. But I coached him all those, and then he changes his mind. He's like, "No, Dad, I want to play lacrosse and water polo. I know nothing of these sports." So he goes off and plays these sports. I get him one lacrosse stick, and then $4,000 later he gets all of his pads, and then he plays
water polo. Is tough. I know too. Water polo is one of those sports where it takes a lot to be good at that. And I mean, I tried it one year when my class, we set up the team at Garces and got a water polo team actually set up and certified. But I tried it 1 year just because my buddy wanted me to, and I quickly learned I am not made for water-based sports. I can't swim that fast. I cannot tread water that long. It is a lot, and guys are actively trying to drown you. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't need to be playing this.
You get that little cloth helmet.
Exactly, and that doesn't help anything with that ball being as hard as a softball. And it, oh god,
I had no idea that you didn't touch the ground.
Yeah, no,
I thought that you were like at like chest deep water.
You were
They're dolphin.
Man, you were treading water. Sit out, and that's why I always tell people, if you have any idea or want any idea of what water polo feels like, just go sit in your pool in the deep end for 10 minutes and try to tread water. Then tell me if that's fun. If that's fun to you, go play water polo, because that's essentially what you're going to be doing. And it's
SEAL team
awful.
It
is. It really is.
Water treading.
It really is. But before we get you guys out of here, obviously we were running out of time.
Too bad.
I know. Well, again, no, we still got a little bit of time, but we were running out of time.
Get him out of here. Let's go. We're wrapping it up.
Oh, good Lord. One more time, where are we going to be able to find you guys if they want to go out to Made You Laugh Mondays?
Yeah, so you can check us out, Made You Laugh Mondays, all one word on Instagram, Tyson Hayes. We'll tell you all the stuff, but tonight it's at Rosedale Station Firehouse, which is actually a Callaway address, Rosedale and Callaway. And as for the foreseeable future, Pat's always there. We'll always be out there 7 p.m. Monday nights, and follow one of those sites those Instagrams. If it changes, you'll know. But yeah, man, we'll be out there tonight. You guys, if you're listening to this, come out tonight.
And if anybody wants to get involved and actually jump on stage with you guys, what time do they need to be there? Who do they need to get in contact with?
6:30. You come see me, or you can reach out to like the socials I mentioned. Trevor's going to be there usually from 6 o'clock onward, and he's there just waiting for people to ask him to get on the list. He'll put you on the list. Yeah, it's pretty easy. If you want to get up, we're not going to make it difficult. We make it easy. So come through, reach out and we'll make it happen for you.
Fantastic. And Pat, do you have any social media you want to shout out real quick?
Yeah, I'm at Pat Rabin Comedy, PATRABIN Comedy on Instagram. I've got a YouTube channel, and I don't know. I'm on MySpace and America Online and all that stuff.
And then one more thing before we let you guys go. The NFL regular season has finally ended. Obviously, both of your teams are in the playoffs. So
yeah.
Put the fan hats down for a second. Who is your Super Bowl predictions?
Super Bowl predictions.
Oh, wow. Well, you mean I can't pick my own team?
You can pick your own team if you would like to.
Picking my own
Yeah,
team.
you can pick a different team.
I just say you can take the hat off for a second if you would like, but who is your Super Bowl
They know
prediction?
how to win close games.
What kind of question?
And I think they'll be playing the Patriots, and I think it'll be I think it'll be a very angry Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, that's two
Interesting.
very, very angry fan bases that need gold around their waists in order to actually feel relevant. And you?
Well, you mentioned the end of the 2025-26 season, right? And it was cool because we got to see Keenan Allen. He just got a bunch of money on the incentive deal. 2 incentives, and then also some records were broke. Did you guys see yesterday? It's 2026, and we have the 106 years has been there's a record. Myles Garrett has the record. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
He's still the only guy to take off the quarterback's helmet and try to whip him over the head. Is that okay to talk about?
Yeah.
He still holds that record. They're pretending like that didn't happen.
That's what every time I see
That's
Mason Rudolph, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Every
You
time I see
idiot.
him, I'm like,
Why do you
dude,
think
got
they did
lucky.
everything possible to make sure that he didn't break the record against them the
I
week
know.
before?
Is that the truth?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, good.
They
One
were
more
so
sack, and then
focused
he
on
takes
him.
the helmet off and just.
Hey. I don't care. I still will sit here and say that's probably the best defensive end I've ever seen in my lifetime.
100.
To be
Just
completely honest, between him and Aaron Donald, I really don't know who's the best defensive player in this generation. But it's a really hard conversation.
Yeah, a couple freaks, man. Those
I
guys
know,
are solid.
on the Browns, no less.
That's what I said.
I know. Yeah.
Well, that's what that was the question I posed to Sparky. I'll pose it to both of you before we let you go. Michael Strahan, Myles Garrett, which one was more impressive to you?
Wild.
Personally, I say Myles Garrett.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but Strahan hosts a hell of a morning show.
Yes, he does. He's very political.
Strahan came out upset about it because he said, Miles, it took Miles an extra game to beat his record.
That's
yeah,
true.
it's a
But
it
He tied
took,
your record, though.
It took Brett Favre an extra kneel down for
There
him to
it
get
is.
the record in the first place.
Exactly. And honestly,
Yeah, and Burrow didn't. I mean, he just pretty much laid it over.
no. And who knows? Maybe Burrow just left him one-on-one just solely so he could get it one time and he could sit there and say, all right, we're done with this and we're moving on. But I don't know. I just, like you said, he plays for the Browns. The likelihood of them being up in a game and teams passing against them is less. I just think that it's a little bit more impressive for someone like him to get it done than a guy like Strahan, who, again, all the talent in the world, but he was on a Super Bowl team that year. And it's hard really to say that he didn't have other people on that defense that had a lot of attention on them at the same time.
Yeah.
Remember them?
So-
Jason Pierre-Paul, was it? Jason Pierre-Paul, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He was solid. Osi,
Club boy?
OC Human Euro.
OC
Euro
was
was
a
definitely on that
stud.
one. I don't think Pierre-Paul was
Not
on
yet.
that team yet.
Gosh, there was a bunch
I
of.
think Pierre-Paul came in after Strahan.
Okay.
But it was
Yeah.
definitely that year they played the Patriots in the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, is the year he broke it.
Mm,
So,
tough
but
one.
regardless,
It's a great year.
that was, well, was that the helmet catch year?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was the helmet catch year?
Uh,
Oh, God.
Yeah. The Giants beat them twice.
Yeah.
They beat them, I think, regular season before the Super Bowl, like late regular season. No.
No.
That was the year that they were-
different season.
No, yeah,
That was
because
when
the,
the
the helmet,
beat
yeah,
that
the
was
helmet
only
catch,
loss that
yes,
season.
as the helmet catch was the undefeated season.
As
that they
Zonka
lost.
popped the champagne bottle.
Absolutely.
So who's your Super Bowl?
Chargers.
And
I saw maybe the
Eagles?
Eagles, Bears would be cool.
I just love that he said Justin Herbert's about to win the Super Bowl with a broken left hand.
Oh, dude, he
I mean,
played very
doesn't-
good the
he
other
doesn't
day.
throw left.
So I'm pretty sure they cut it off and put on a bionic hand. Have you seen it? It looks like it doesn't phase him when he's
What,
out
was
there.
he Luke
And it's stuck
Skywalker
like
now?
this. It's just stuck like this. It's just I don't know. It's funny. It looks great. Though.
Anyways, Chargers and
Bears.
Bears.
Chargers and Bears.
You're just trying to get up on
Uh,
the
No,
well.
because I would
Do
love
pigs
to see
fly
Dan
in your
cry.
world?
I would love to see Dan cry.
Oh
Just
my
say it.
gosh! Again, so Chargers obviously winning the Super Bowl in a Chargers and Bears matchup. That's your Super Bowl
I
prediction.
think yeah, Chargers and Bears.
You
would
know
be
what?
good.
After this
Eagles.
season, I wouldn't be surprised. After this NFL season,
Yeah, it's been a while.
anything can happen. Shoot, the Jacksonville Jaguars could make the Super Bowl this year.
I'm so glad we're not playing
Jaguars
them.
and Panthers.
Yeah,
How about that?
Absolutely.
That would
That
be
could
wild.
be. I could be in the Super Bowl this year.
That'd be
That's the
wild.
wildest part about all this. Gentlemen, we have run out of time,
Expansion.
though. Thank you so much for yours. We appreciate you
Firehouse
so much.
tonight.
Yes, go out, see me at Your Life Mondays. Go try it out for yourself as well. Be someone like Pat. Try something new, and maybe you'll make a whole other career out of it. I mean, God only knows. So let's take a break. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. There it is. Welcome back. This is the early bird special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. You can also follow us on all social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, all that type of good stuff. Like, share, subscribe. And we got to talk some basketball with our guy Snacks as it is getting closer and closer to the All-Star break. And I believe All-Star voting has begun. So if you do go to the NBA website, there should be a link there for you that'll let you vote for your favorite players to be in the starting five of this year's NBA All-Star game. Sir, how are you?
Good morning. How are you? I've been sick all weekend, so I'm finally getting back to square one.
You and me both, my friend. You and me both. But luckily, it was a weekend full of sleeping for me, so I didn't have to do much. I hope you got the same. I have a couple questions for you, and since you're sick, we'll let you go. We don't keep you very long, my friend. You won't have to stay that
You're
long.
fine.
First and foremost, have you heard about this turmoil going on with the Golden State Warriors? The Draymond Green situation with Steve Kerr last week, I believe, where they had a blow up at practice and it led to Draymond leaving and all of that. Do you think that this team has had some interior turmoil for too long? And is the dynasty kind of hanging up its hat?
The dynasty been over in my book. I'm actually surprised that Golden State has held on to Draymond as long as they have.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, when I say that, I ask myself, well, who else would take Draymond? But then again, it's sports, and other teams would love to have him, but I don't see him being good anywhere else. If that makes sense. Because we've seen him in the Golden State structure for so long. What else can he do?
Right.
And will any other coach and any other organization want to bring that what he brings to the table in? And I'm not talking about on the court, but all of the actions that he's doing right now. So I kind of thought the dynasty has been over. One, because they can't stay healthy. For one, two, you just never know what you're gonna get night in and night out. You don't know if you're gonna get a calm Draymond or you're gonna get a blow up Draymond. And you actually start playing leaving the bench during a timeout because you and your head coach are getting it. It's just not a good sign for the rest of the team. And for that many people, it's not a good look.
Man, I agree 100%. I think they could have or should have let Draymond go this past offseason. I was really surprised that they brought him back personally. But I think you're right on target because I don't think his type of play and attitude works out anywhere else. He reminds me a lot. I'll go back to football. He reminds me a lot of Tyreek Hill. Everything is good when you're winning, but as soon as you hit that bump in the road, you got to watch out because this guy, whether it's on X or even at practice, I lost a lot of respect from Draymond a couple years ago.
Well, and again, I agree with both of you that his play definitely wouldn't work anywhere else, but I don't necessarily think it's because he is or has a lack of skill. I think it's more because Golden State for this entirety of this dynasty run really has flowed the ball through Draymond and through Steph. And no other team I feel is going to take him on and do that and flow their entire offense through Draymond Green and it be successful the way it was in Golden State. So with that being the case, do you think that Draymond would probably rather retire than play for anybody else?
Well, let me backtrack. The only other place I could see him thriving is somewhere in New York or Brooklyn. And the only reason I say that because his mentality fits.
Yeah. I could see that. Maybe Detroit. I think Detroit maybe could pull Detroit, that in.
But also the players on those teams won't allow him to do that. Like he's not going to bully those players on those teams. Like they'll fight back. Like you're just not going to be swinging on somebody in a practice in New York. That's just not going to happen.
No.
You're not going to be swinging on somebody in a practice. Like people ain't crazy. You know who to swing on, who not to, or second guess yourself on who to swing on. So let me backtrack myself and say maybe those markets, but there's very few teams at this point in his career where they're going to want to bring a Draymond in with. If he just shuts up and play, you want that type of dog on the team,
right? But we're past that era, though. Let's be honest. He's a multi-time champion. He's not going to shut his mouth.
Yeah. Because it's coming towards the end, so now he's just trying to stay relevant.
Right.
And I just don't see any organization because the league is too soft now. Like everybody just wants to come get a check. Like, I mean, just call it what it is. A lot of people just, and a lot of NBA players will tell you that. A lot of these dudes just on the team just to get a check. They don't care if they never win a championship. And he doesn't have that type of mentality. Like he's a true winner. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration comes from. And I don't think a lot of organizations just want to bring that in.
And you know what? Now that you highlight it, if they could figure out some sort of vet minimum or something like that, because you know that they're not going to pay him the money he's going to want, but him on the Knicks would actually work really well. Now that I actually am thinking about that, him at the power forward, allow these guys to run around him while he kind of facilitates the whole thing, would really put that championship caliber team together. Now that I think about that,
and the Knicks are in a slump right now. They could use almost anything right now.
At this point, talking about teams who are, well, not necessarily in a slump, but I think teams are starting to figure it out. But the Oklahoma City Thunder were handed a third loss yesterday by the Phoenix Suns. Do you think that the West is starting to figure out a way to play this team and kind of slow them down?
I mean, I would say yes. I mean, but it's also a long season, so we couldn't have expected OKC to just go have a tremendous year. Like it's very rare we're going to get another Golden State year where they go at 73 and whatever they were that year. So yeah, I think they're starting to figure out, and then you can also start to wear down. And so I would see OKC getting back in the swing of things after the All-Star break. Or they also start to figure it out on their end. Okay, people are starting to figure out this about us. Let's switch to this. And I think they are a young enough team. I think they're a smart enough team to make those adjustments. So for me, it's always too early to talk about it, especially right before All-Star break. Once we start getting close to the playoff season, then I will have a better judgment on it.
And finally, with this whole Trae Young situation, the trade rumors looming, and I mean, honestly, we've heard this for the past 2 or 3 years with him, and we talked about it last week. I know when it comes to just him not meshing with anybody, but it's now starting to grow around the internet that this is just a cycle that the Hawks like to run, where they threaten to trade Trae, and then the team turns it around and they end up keeping him, and this is an endless just circle of debauchery that they're never going to get out of. Do you think this is finally the year the Hawks just say, nope, we're done, and we're finally going to move on from this kid? And if they do, have you thought of any potential trade suitors in the past week?
I think they have to move on from him, but that's a great question because I don't know who they bring in for him.
Right.
And it's not about the team, it's about the market. A lot of players, good players, just want to go to certain markets. Like certain people want to go to Houston, certain people want to go to San Antonio. Some want to go to the Knicks. I mean New York, because it's the more marketing scheme that you can have around it. So I just don't know who, as a superstar or somebody that's labeled as a star, that will want to go to Atlanta and be that person to build around in Atlanta. And Trae's just always been an AAU player to me. Just that one player that's always been good, but he has to have the ball and he has to take majority of shots. And if not, he's going to be a baby about it. So again, but also he's too good not to have on the floor because he can have an incredible night for 4 consecutive nights and then have a bombing night that just deletes the other 4 nights that he had. So it's very hard to watch him. But at some point, as an organization, you got to move on.
Right. And again, they've, in my opinion, have tried to at least put stuff around him to make it work, and it just hasn't meshed with any star that they've brought in. And I just don't know if there's a star that you can bring in that's going to mesh well with him in this Atlanta situation. It just would make more sense to me that they move off of him and move away. But I still can't think of anybody who would actually reach out and trade for this guy just solely because they know he doesn't work well with other stars. So what are you building if you bring him in? You know what I mean?
And maybe that's a humbling experience for him. I mean, sometimes these owners and GMs just need to start being honest with these millionaires or these ball players. Like, hey man, we would love to bring you in, but just watching from a distance, you can't mesh with anybody. Who do we put you around? We already have a team with a good chemistry. We bring you in, you want to shoot the ball 25 plus times a game, and we got a good rotation in the ball movement. How do we put you in the game? And I'm sure he'll come back, well, I'll mesh well, and then as soon as he gets there, it goes back to being Trae Young. So it's very difficult, but I just think these owners and GMs need to start being honest with these players. Like, hey, I would love to bring you in, but this is what it's going to be, and if not, we get rid of you.
Right. No, and again,
it maybe is just holding to a higher standard than most of these guys are used to. But I agree. I think at some point you just have to know who holds the responsibility for the lack of success. And sometimes it's not the coach's fault. Sometimes it's the player's fault. And that's really what it's going to come down to.
Maybe mess around and find yourself in the Ice Cube League.
Yeah, no kidding. The big
Yep.
three at this point. And I'm sorry, I forgot. I have one more question for you. The Pistons continue to shock the world, including myself. 26-9 right now. How far can JB Bickerstaff take this squad? Is this a team that we should really be looking at in the East?
I think the Pistons will be as good as they want to be. And what I mean by that is, as long as nobody becomes, the more and more you get closer to the playoffs, the more and more people want to start becoming that guy.
Yeah,
the man, because then now it becomes a money thing. Or if I ball out in the playoffs, I can get traded and go be the man somewhere else. And I think that's where a lot of teams mess up. So as long as they don't get in that mode, you're gonna see something special coming out of Detroit, because they have a young, talented team that's just willing and wanting to win, especially with that backcourt with Ivy and what's the other kid's name?
Cade Cunningham. Is Cunningham?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those two, man, they can go. They always could go, especially coming out of college. So I think if those two stay humble, stay poised, and stay on course, I think you'll continue to see what you see out of the Pistons.
Well, where does this put JB Bickerstaff in your mind as one of the better coaches, or in list of better coaches, I should say? Because in my personal opinion, this will now be the second young team that JB has turned around and made a number one seed in the East, because he did the same thing with Cleveland not too long ago. And I don't think this dude gets the respect he deserves as a coach, because they swiftly move off of him when things go wrong. And I hope this doesn't, this isn't the case in Detroit after this incredible start. But if they don't make it further, do you think that this is just his destiny to be that team to turn teams around but never get the respect for it?
Man, I can't agree more. And I hate when organizations get rid of coaches so fast, like especially when they've been successful. And I think a lot of people rely too much on success as far as getting deep into the playoffs or getting deep into or winning a championship, and fail to realize what they've turned around. Like your team has been trash for decades, and we're finally seeing excitement in all places. Detroit, where nobody wants to go. I don't know if you've ever been to Detroit, but it's not much in Detroit, but it's also considered a big city. And so if you can find a coach to come in that, one, wants to be there, two, can change a young team around and have them balling the way they do, and you get money and marketing money coming back here, why are we in a rush to get rid of them? So I always say give coaches at least 4 years to do what they need to do. And I think he's one of the better coaches in the league right now. He's still underestimated. And hopefully the Pistons organization is not quick to get rid of him if they do have whatever a turnaround of, going backwards.
Right.
And let him work things out.
That seems to be that is my fear, I should say, because that seems to be the formula a lot of the time in the NBA nowadays. And maybe it's because of the Golden State dynasty and how it started with Mark Jackson and how they moved on to Steve Kerr. And I know I constantly use that as an example with a lot of different coaching moves, but in this case, every time I look at JB, and I miss JB Bickerstaff as the Cleveland coach sometimes, because I do think Cleveland's fallen off in certain areas of the game in which JB Bickerstaff is very good at keeping a team relevant in. And I love Kenny Atkinson, don't get me wrong, but I can't sit there and say that Cleveland is in a better spot today than they were when they had JB as the head coach. So I just keep seeing this and this turnaround from the Detroit Pistons, which I agree with you, is one team that nobody ever wants to play, especially if they're good, because it's the bad boy Pistons all over again, and they beat up on teams. But
yeah, and that would be my thing if I'm in the GM spot or owner spot or whoever making the decision spot. Like, why are we getting rid of a coach that continues to get us to the playoffs?
Right. That's always my thought too. It's like if you get us there or get us a shot to get there, I get it. But if you fall off for 2-3 years, then I also get why you want to fire him. But JB has never really been that coach. He's never been a guy who's fallen off. Like, his teams are traditionally good, and then teams just decide, you're just not the guy, and they move off.
Yeah, it's weird.
It is.
It's
really
really
is.
weird. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't have an answer for.
Nah, I agree with you 100%, my friend. Thank you so much for your time. Feel better, and we will talk to you next week.
All right, brother. Appreciate y'all.
Have a good day. Let's take a break real quick, and we'll get to our final stories of the day as we
Third
have
coach was
another
fired.
coach. And did we call it or did we call
We
it?
called it.
At this point, we'll let you know who it was on the other side. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Wakanda forever.
Pete Carroll. Bye.
Did anybody else see it besides us? I mean, come on. We got the notification during our talks with our guys. I want to thank our guy Tyson and Pete, and also Snacks for joining us today. By the
Pat.
way, Pat, sorry, Pat. I apologize, sir. But yes, Pete Carroll has been let go. They will be keeping the general manager John Spytek, though.
Why?
Well, again, because I don't know. I can't
to
even
make that one.
politic for that one.
Try
Yeah, I
to
can't
make that
politic.
one.
I'm sorry.
I did see
Yeah,
the
fire
Titans.
sale.
Titans have requested to interview Vance Joseph
Of course.
and Steve Spags.
Steve Spags. That's actually nice. That wouldn't be a bad one. I think Vance Joseph needs another shot at a head coaching job, though, especially with the way he's turned around that defense in Denver. It has been ever since that one 70-point drop by the Miami Dolphins, it has been an absolute 180 turnaround, and they have been the best defense in the NFL ever since.
For both teams.
For both teams. Yeah, absolutely. But sitting there with the Raiders, we told you guys when we were talking about our coaching carousel talks earlier in the show, it was very unlikely Pete was going to be kept. This entire experiment, I don't think it worked out. I think Tom Brady and Mr. Davis sat down and said, yeah, no, we're done with this. We're going to move on, and we're going to find somebody that's going to be able to connect with these players and put the best possible team forward. Keeping the general manager, though, is kind of skeptical because, again, this team is the number 1 draft pick right now for a reason, and the GM hasn't exactly helped anything. He really hasn't. Now, he's probably going to be working for his job this season. I can guarantee that. But if anything bad happens outside of maybe some injuries, I think he's going to take the brunt of the blame. And they're not going to be blaming a head coach. They're not going to be blaming coordinators. They're definitely not going to be blaming a quarterback in Geno Smith next season. They're going to be looking at you because, one, they're not going to allow you to not take a quarterback first overall, even though if the Raider organization listens to this show and hears anything come out of my mouth, it's this: take a tackle. Take the tackle out of Utah. Take anybody but Fernando Mendoza. And I don't mean that as a slight against Fernando. Love Mendoza. It's all about putting him in the right situation, and you do not have that. It doesn't matter if it's Mendoza or Dante Moore. Doesn't matter who you take. They're all going to get creamed to the level of David Carr creamed. We're going to watch a rookie quarterback, I want to say freshman, but a rookie quarterback get destroyed in his first year because your offensive line is incompetent and can't block a 5th grader, let alone an NFL defensive tackle.
I think they do both. I think they'll get the quarterback, and I think they can still address the rest of their draft picks.
I hope you're
with
right.
Offensive line, because they would be silly to pass on that guy. But personally, I'm not surprised. We got 3 down, and I bet we'll be at 5 by tomorrow's show.
Oh, you're probably right, if not 6. But like we said, there's a long list of coaches that we now know a good amount of them are safe. A couple of them shouldn't be, but they are. And honestly, outside of Atlanta doing an absolute wipeout of their entire front office, I don't think anybody's going to be doing anything drastic. A lot of GMs might actually survive this season. Why? I'll try to figure out an answer for you and tell you tomorrow. Because as of right now, especially when it comes to the Giants and the Raiders, how those 2 men still have their jobs, we'll find out.
A huge Monday Night Raw tonight.
Absolutely. We'll be, do we know where they're live from tonight?
No.
No? Well, we'll let you know all about it tomorrow with our guy 24KG. Plus, I believe we have another guest lined up for tomorrow as well, but I will sit on it and I will let you guys know before tomorrow morning. This is the early bird special, though. Thank you guys for joining us. Join us back here tomorrow, 7 to 9, as always. Sparky, let's get out of here.